Hi, this is Nicole Tallman, Director at Brooklyn Letters. Jumping in again today to answer some hot topic questions. And one that we as a business have really heard a lot about and have been working a lot with are all of the multitudes of apps and websites and activities and different online things that our speech language therapists and our literacy specialists can utilize to work with their students and their clients. And I have a speech therapist with me today, Amy. Hi, Amy.
Hi.
And Amy has worked for Brooklyn Letters for quite a while, and she's very seasoned at this. So we are going to, Amy, I'm just going to let you kind of introduce yourself and tell us what you do and a little bit about you, and then we'll jump into some of these activities.
Sure. Yeah, I've been a speech therapist with Brooklyn Letters. I don't even remember how many years, maybe 3 or 4 now. And I normally do sessions in the home or in school. In the past, I've done teletherapy with clients if they were homesick or I was homesick and we were well enough to work, but we didn't want to get each other sick. It was kind of like a makeup every once in a while thing. So I had some experience with this, but now that we are quarantined, I'm doing teletherapy full-time online, mostly through Zoom.
Okay. So how's it going? Generally, how do you feel like the transition has been for your clients and your students?
I think for some clients, it's been really great, especially my older clients that are kind of used to, they're Zooming all day for school anyway, or we've already had experience doing Zoom sessions with each other. That is a little easier. All of their work is on Google Classroom and stuff, so they can even send me links and usernames and passwords to that so I can access their work. We also use Google Docs a lot if we're working on a writing activity, so we both can see what they're doing. The younger students, it's a little bit harder, but I discovered this great resource called Boom Cards. And you can either buy certain Boom Cards on the site itself, or you can go on Teachers Pay Teachers and search for Boom Cards. And that's been super engaging for kids.
Okay. Well, I know nothing about Boom Cards, but I have actually heard several, not only our staff, but just on other forums and websites talking about Boom Cards that seems to be pretty popular. So I was wondering if you would be able to share with us, maybe show us a little bit about what Boom Cards is all about. So
Absolutely. So I will share my screen, and this is what I do with my own clients. So,
and do I need to do anything, or do I just need to watch?
You don't need to do anything yet.
Okay.
So I'm going to try to explain to people. So you go to the bottom of your Zoom and you click share screen, and then I pick Google Chrome and I share that with you. And my screen should pop up for you. And then I go to Boom Cards, and I see Boom Cards have fallen asleep because I had them waiting here. And here, let's do this one. So with one of my clients, I'm working on negation. So understanding which one is not loud.
Okay.
And so if a child doesn't understand the construction not, they're going to click on something that's loud. So you want them to understand that the sentence is saying not loud. And so I can actually, oh wait, hold on. Let me pause this for a second. Stop share, because I want to make sure the sound shows up on your screen, because that makes it way more fun. So when you're sharing, on the bottom lower left hand corner, you can click share computer sound.
Okay.
And then on the top, it says like remote control. So I'm going to give you control of my computer. And so you can click which one of those is not loud.
I hope I get it right.
So don't worry, I get them wrong all the time.
Okay, so did I click on him?
So you should be able to click, yeah.
Yay.
So it's crazy. I can show everyone my hands. Am I still showing up on your side?
You are, so you're not touching.
Hands-free. So which one is not a cat? Yeah.
Yay, how fun. Oh,
You
so
can
I can
see.
see how little kids, like I think about my grandson, he's 3.5. He would be all over this because one, he doesn't get to use the computer himself a lot.
Hmm.
So for him
Yeah.
to be able to choose would be a really, really big deal.
Yeah.
How fun.
And then I even give my clients a password, a username and password, and they can use this for homework too. So if
Oh,
the child really likes it and they want to, oftentimes like I'll go through a set of 20 boom cards and then assign the same exact ones for them to do for homework.
okay.
So it's nothing crazy. And so
Okay.
let me show you some other ones
These are,
that are super engaging.
where does,
Where does it belong?
you
And
can
so this
drag.
is categorizing. And so you can like actually drag the orange over to the fruit stand.
Do it.
See if it's still working. I should have asked, what device are you on?
I'm on a Mac computer.
Oh, it should work.
It was a little bit hard for me to choose. Yeah, it's not dragging, but I see
Okay.
exactly how that would work. So I would just click on that. Yeah.
Yeah, so you
And
drag and I usually go through like all the different stores and then we talk about the different categories. But this is a fun option where the kids can drag and then they
okay.
click submit.
And it's
And there's a little ding that lets them know they got it correct.
very cool.
Yeah.
So these are things, are there free boom cards or can you create your own boom cards?
You can create your own, but I've tried, it's very complicated. There are a lot of freebies out there.
Okay.
Signing up for Boom cards itself is free. I think there's like a trial period
Okay.
right now, and then you can try freebies so you can play around with it. And then the cards themselves are really inexpensive. It's like
Okay.
$2, $3.
Okay. Okay. Good deal. Okay, so that's boom cards. Highly
Yep.
recommended. Anything else? Any other app or website that you're using that you're enjoying?
So I will share with you another one. I want to show you the whole thing. It's called Open Library, and we can post the links
Okay, great. Yes,
to
we'll do
this,
that.
and I'll just show you the book because this is, I usually have it like ready to go for my students. So this is a classic book,
Great.
Peter's Chair. And so I read the book to the children, and this book I like in particular because it's about a little boy. Peter stretched as high as he could. There, his tall building was finished. Crash. You'll have to play more quietly. There's a new baby in the house. So they're kind of like hinting at things that are happening. And then I talk with the student about, like, why would the mom say that? And then there's the baby, and the baby is in Peter's old cradle that they painted it pink. And how does that make Peter feel that there's a new baby? So it's like I have a child with high functioning autism. We do like perspective taking, feeling, because it might not be obvious to all children that this kid is feeling majorly jealous.
Right.
And uh-oh, there's a chair. It's Peter's chair. What is the dad doing? He's painting it pink. Why is he painting it pink? Oh, sometimes girls like pink. It's for the sister. And then uh-oh. And then there's a little chair. They haven't painted the little chair pink. So what's Peter doing here? Why is he doing it? Stuff like that.
Okay, great. So very interactive, super interactive. And I mean, I'm like getting into it with you. So I can
The
see.
other thing I can do here too is I'll say like point to Peter, and on Zoom you can annotate.
Oh, look
So
at
I
that.
can even draw if the child is having trouble
Okay.
understanding what I'm pointing to. I mean, this picture is like pretty obvious, but let me see if there's a busier.
Like there was the one where everything was stacked up, that when he stacked his stuff up.
Right. So it's like, oh, do you see the yellow block? And if the child
Right.
doesn't know what you're talking about, you
Right.
can kind of draw attention to it.
Okay.
So I like that feature as well.
Okay, neat. Yeah.
And you go through the whole book, undo. And that takes some getting used to, definitely.
Well, technology is different.
Yeah. So you play around with it like when you're not in a session, but also like just kind of realizing it's not going to be perfect and just
right.
going along with it. And like kids don't really care also.
Right. And I was going to say the idea really is just to engage the child.
Yep.
They don't know. They don't know.
Yep.
Yeah, that is very neat. Those are two great activities, great things. Now, Open Library, it's free.
It's
correct?
totally free.
So that's just awesome. That's just great.
And what I like is there's a lot of classic books.
Right.
Things that I've signed up for before that are free. There's a lot of commercial materials like Disney characters and
right.
Not that I have anything against that, but for a language therapy session, those books tend to not be as good for targeting the goals that I have.
Right.
But these classic like Jack Ezra Keats books, and there's Dr. Seuss, you could do phonological awareness stuff.
Yeah, say in the homeschooling world, we call those other books twaddle. Those are twaddle. You want your children to read more classics. Like you said, it's just a richer use of language versus. Anyway, there you go.
Yeah, I always equate it to like reading like a trashy novel on the beach. Exactly. There's nothing wrong with it,
no,
but
it has its place, and sometimes it does take books like that maybe to hook a child to be interested in reading.
Yes.
Yeah, and I've done that as well. A book that I wasn't as thrilled about, but you know what? It made my son enjoy reading, and off he went with it. So it was okay for the time. But you're right that the more rich language is, they're going to get more out of that. They don't realize it, but they are. So yeah. Okay. So any other websites or anything that you just want to shout?
Yeah. So one thing I just discovered, this is hilarious. You can do a snap camera.
I went to the school where you are now. Let's go to the beach.
Yeah, that's why I picked it.
Yeah.
But you have to be careful with these because it can be distracting.
I have heard that there are some like teachers that will be in their Zoom meetings with their whole class, and the kids are very distracted because all of them are switching their backgrounds all over the place.
Yeah, like I wouldn't want the child to have access to this, but for a young child that isn't savvy and can't figure out how to use stuff, if I'm losing them, it's like a quick thing I can do to just kind of bring them back.
Oh, how fun. Yeah, that's a great idea. Yeah.
There's also things that like for a child with high functioning autism, I'll start the session and see like if they notice and if they comment.
Oh, yeah.
Because sometimes a child with autism, it just might. Do you have a bird?
No, I have
an electronic bird.
I have a text alert that just keeps going off, and I don't know how to. We'll see if that works. Okay.
So yeah, see like if they notice and if they can describe.
Right.
So like this one's pretty funny.
Oh yeah. Like, oh, how funny. And see if they.
And they might notice. They might make like a face and to be like, what, what's so funny? And
that's
to get them to say, Amy, there's a mustache on your face. They might just be like, that's just weird.
Yeah.
Or like, oh, something subtle, like, and they'll just like look at you and it's like, what? and playing dumb and getting, oh, there's a red, there's a bow. They might not even have the vocabulary. Like, that's a red bow tie.
And, I've had even just a lot of parents who, when they will initially call, especially if they're talking about their young children, even before we were really into teletherapy, and some of the questions are, well, what types of things, if my child's not really talking and not using a lot of vocabulary, how do they do that? What types of things do they do? That's such a, is that you're not putting, you might have to help them with the language, but just eliciting a response and a curiosity and seeing the look on their face like, what is going on?
Yeah. What I used to do when I worked in the schools is sometimes I'd put the chairs on the table and have the kids walk in, and they would just look at me like helpless, like, and I would play dumb, like, what's wrong? And getting them to say, like, Miss Amy, like, the chairs are on the table and we can't sit down until we take the chairs down.
Right.
That's really hard for them to communicate.
Right. But yeah, that's all very interesting. I'm glad that you've shared some of those things, because and it's good for me too when I'm talking with parents to be able to have some real life examples to share of some different types of things that you all are doing. You have to be extremely creative. And that's something I'm really learning from talking with many of you, especially with this new transition, is that, you have to be creative. And there are hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of websites and apps and, a gazillion forums, and everyone has a suggestion, and it can be so completely overwhelming. So it's twofold. Thankfully, those resources are there for you to find. But there are almost too many resources, and you just don't have the time to go through everything that you see that looks cool to see if it's going to work for you. And so those examples that you've given and showed us how to use, those are a couple of, I would highly.
And you can't be stressed in a session,
right?
Especially with with anyone. You have to like enjoy, even if you don't enjoy being there, you have to pretend, you have to find something that you enjoy, because if you're having fun, then the child's having fun. Right. If you come in like, I don't know how to do any of these buttons, and oh my God, then they're going to be like, well, I don't want to do this either. Like, I don't want to be around you. Right. So that's why I love the snap, because sometimes I just do goofy stuff just to like make myself laugh, because then if I'm laughing, they're laughing.
That's right. Have you found that it's gotten easier the more that you've worked with the technology?
The novelty is huge. So like, I just had a session with a client that's like, the first two were really easy because everything was like new and exciting. And then he got like a little bored of it, Right. So we ended up playing 20 questions. I just spontaneously like threw out my whole lesson plan and was like, okay, let's play 20 questions, because I needed to like mix things up to re-engage him.
Which is going to be an ongoing challenge, I would imagine. Yeah. Well, I appreciate you and all the creativity you're putting into your sessions and the way you're taking care of the children. And I know their parents appreciate it and the kids appreciate it. And anything else you want to add or share that?
No, I think that's everything.
Okay, well, I will let you go, but I just wanted to thank you for coming on. I know this is going to be very useful for those that come upon it. So I'll just let you go and we'll talk soon.
Okay.
Thanks for stopping in.
Yeah.
Bye.